Hey, what's up, peeps? It's your boy PC Williams. I'm back, baby. It's been a long time, man. I know y'all ain't seen me in a while. Just took the kids on a nice Disney cruise for their fifth birthday, man. I highly recommend the Disney World cruise for anybody with kids, man. It's a great experience. Very expensive, but great experience, man. Great culture, great thing for the culture, man. Great learning experience. Not just all fun, a great experience to really educate your mind and everything. My man Big Ron Wright from Boston. What's up, man? Go Red Sox. But a lot has happened since I last was on air. We got drama in Golden State. We got championship week. We got rivalry weekend just passed. Oh, NBA in full swing. College almost over with. NFL almost over with. Man, we coming down to it, man. So without further ado, you know how I do. It's 1K Sports, baby. Uncut, unfiltered, unbiased, unapologetic. So, here we go. Well, first off, I want to take this time to acknowledge, all my University of Florida fans. My beautiful wife, Waynette, my gorgeous god sister, Nadia, my good friend, my big brother, Tyree. I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, apologize. I did pick Florida State to beat Florida. The reason why I felt that way, it's because I felt like Florida had nothing else to play for, and FSU had to win to be bowl eligible. So I felt like maybe Florida go out there and lay an egg, but they went out there and put their face in it, man. So I apologize to all my Florida fans. I did pick y'all to lose. I'm sorry. Please quit calling my house and threatening me. I'm sorry. Y'all did win. I give props where it's due. But in the meantime, about that game, this was the first time since 1976 that the Florida State Seminoles have a losing record and will not be in a bowl game. So, that was a low point for Florida State. And, of course, the backlash on Willie Taggart is just a lot of ignorance, a lot of racism going on, man. But, I get it. Willie Taggart had a really rough year, a really rough first year. Things didn't go how you planned for it to go. But me personally, I feel everything's going to be all right. I feel like it's still Florida State. You're still going to get top-notch athletes. It's just one year. It was a bad year. And my biggest issue with Willie Taggart is it's not the fact that you what's up, my man? Tyree McClendon, Uncle Smokehouse Barbecue. Yeah, dog, you missed the apology, man. I apologize. I did pick y'all to lose. I'm sorry. Please accept my apology, and please give me extra meat on my pulled pork dinner, please, still in the future. But my biggest issue with Willie Taggart is I feel like the players quit on him at times this year. And I feel like for you to be a first-year coach, that can't happen. You can't have guys quitting on you. Yeah, you're a first-year coach. You go lose. It happens. Nick Saban, his first year at Alabama, was 7-6. So it happens. You're going to have rough first years. It's not your guys. It's not your recruited class, so it's different. So give Willie Taggart some time. I think the guy has at least earned a couple more years to make things right. We'll see how it plays out, but I think everything will be just fine. But to University of Florida, I think this is a team that you guys have to look out for in the future, man. This is a very talented, very athletic team that will cause some issues in the SEC East, in the SEC, in the whole country for the next couple of years. I mean, they're great on defense. I think Felipe Franks, everybody's kind of in and out on him. I think he's not that bad, personally. I think Felipe Franks is not a bad quarterback. I personally believe that Dan Mullen, you saw what he did with Tebow and Dak Prescott and Nick Fitzgerald. So Dan Mullen has had experience with making something out of nothing. And let's face it, Tim Tebow is not, in the NFL anymore. Dak Prescott is not what you would consider an elite quarterback, but these guys were great in college under Dan Mullen's system. So I feel like give him some time with a new quarterback. Maybe if Felipe Franks comes back, I don't know if he is. Just give him some time. I think Dan Mullen is a great offensive mind. The Garrett's already have a great defense, so everything's already set in motion. This is a very great Florida team that you have to look out for in the future because Dan Mullen will fix their offense. I'm not saying they're going to be, putting up 50 a game, but they will be respectable And now you add that with a defense that's top 5 every year. Now you got something going. So, and as far as what UF did to Florida State, I get it. Oh, they beat the sorry Seminoles. Okay, so what? You know, that's what great teams do to bad teams. They embarrass them, they humiliate them. I remember when I was in college, at Wilbur International University, and we played E-Dub. E-Dub was our biggest rival, you know, from my time there. And my senior year, we kind of took a step forward as contenders. You know, we beat a couple of record opponents. We were going to be going to the playoffs and all that stuff like that. So we saw E-Dub as same old E-Dub. So we say, you know what? Let's go out here and shame them. Let's embarrass them. Let's make them feel regret forever thinking that they was ever on our level. Let's go out there and send a message. And that's what the University of Florida did. They said, look, if FSU loses, they're not going to a bowl game. So let's go out here and embarrass them. Let's embarrass them on their home field. Let's tell them we did it. Let's call them all kind of names. And let's embarrass them. Let's wear their face in it. And that's exactly what they did. FSU, you got to come back strong after that. Like I said, UF is a team to be reckoned with in the future, man. So keep an eye on them. Well. Out of all the games this weekend, there was the game in Columbus, Michigan, Ohio State. This is the moment that I was waiting for. I told y'all in the preseason, I got Jim Harbaugh winning the Big Ten, going to the college football playoff. Why did I say that? Because I feel like Jim Harbaugh has no choice. You've been mediocre, you've been average, and on top of that, you're getting hyped up and you're getting the same kind of, you're being mentioned in the same conversation with Nick Saban and Urban Meyer and Dabo Swinney, and you're not on these guys' level. So I felt this year Jim Harbaugh would win the Big Ten and go to the playoff because I feel like he had no choice. You think about it. Urban Meyer, first 3 games suspended. Ohio State gets blown out at Purdue. They're a drop pass from losing to Maryland. They're in all kind of turmoil. Offense is bad, not getting things going. Defense not doing too good. Nick Bosa leaves school early. Everything was against Ohio State, and everything was going right for Michigan. You finally got a quarterback. Defense is still better than ever. You got Jim Harbaugh. Everything is going great. You had one loss at Notre Dame. It was a close game. So I'm looking at this team now, and you get beat 62-39. Wow. My playoff pick got beat 39-62. This was an embarrassing loss for Jim Harbaugh, the worst of his career. I think it was a statement win for Ohio State. I don't think the game really changes what's wrong with Ohio State. I think Ohio State still has issues defensively. I mean, Michigan did drop 39 on them. So they still have issues on the defensive side of the ball that no one's addressing right now. There is that big old elephant in the room, that loss to Purdue, that big blowout loss to Purdue. That may keep them out the playoffs, even with a blowout win over Northwestern in the Big Ten championship. I still think Ohio State has issues, but that furthermore makes this loss embarrassing for Jim Harbaugh. If you're not going to beat Ohio State now, when are you going to beat them? This was your best chance right here. A program in turmoil, a defense that's not what it was. You know, outside noise, internal flux, and you still go out there and get blown out like this. This was an embarrassing loss on Jim Harbaugh's part. I don't know how he recovers from this, but we'll see how he do. But, you know, and if not for a mental breakdown, I mean, Ohio State gave up a late touchdown in the first half, and they muffed a kickoff. So they gift wrapped it Michigan 14 points to end the half, and you still get beat like this. So it could have been a whole lot worse. So it was a bad loss for Harbaugh. As far as his job is concerned, the more I sat there and I thought about it, I say, you know what? Jim Harbaugh is the perfect coach for Michigan. Think about it. Jim Harbaugh will win you a lot of games. He won't win you championships. The University of Michigan, this great story program, they've won more games than anyone in the history of college football. Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Texas. You go down the list. Michigan has won more games than anyone in college football history. And they have one championship to show for it, and that was Charles Woodson's magical Heisman year. That was a one-off. That was a great year. As you all know, Woody is an all-time great player. That was an all-time great year. It comes around every so often for every great team. That's all they have. So maybe Jim Harbaugh is your guy. Maybe beating Ohio State is not what it is. I mean, for crying out loud, even Brady Hoke, the guy that Jim Harbaugh replaced, even he beat Ohio State one time. So maybe that's the criteria. Win a lot of games, go 11-1, 10-2, lose to Ohio State, we'll be fine. So maybe Michigan is the place for Jim Harbaugh because he will win you a lot of games. He will lose to Ohio State every year. But hey, he'll look good until that game. So keep him around, Michigan. Continue to be mediocre because Michigan football is mediocre. You've won more games than any program in college football history, and you have one championship to show for it. So maybe Harbaugh's your guy. Maybe Harbaugh is the right guy for Michigan. Mediocrity and mediocrity. It goes together. All right, the Iron Bowl. Well, Alabama, their one loss last year was at the hands of Auburn. Alabama avenged that loss to the sound of 52-21 beat down. My man Tua was 25 of 32, 324 yards, and 5 touchdown passes. Oh, he ran for one too, by the way. Hey, my beautiful mother-in-law. How you doing, Miss Dion? So, I look at Alabama and I say, okay, how can I define this team, this particular Alabama team? Defense has really found itself. And I think early on in the season, Tua came out on fire. They're beating opponents. They're dropping 50, 60 on guys. And no one really noticed that Alabama's defense was struggling. And rightfully so. I mean, for crying out loud, Alabama, they are human. I mean, you lose Minka Fitzpatrick, you lose Ronnie Harrison, Tony Brown, Anthony Avery, you lose Rashaan Evans, you lose Sean Deion Hamilton, you lose Deron Payne, you lose NFL talent, and these are not slouches. Deron Payne is starting for the Redskins. He is the anchor of that defense. Minka Fitzpatrick is going to be the heart and soul of that Miami Dolphins defense for years to come. Ronnie Harrison will be a starting safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars in the future. Anthony Avery is nice with it. So, Tony Brown, so these are not just anyone lose. You replacing your entire secondary. So that's no shame that you struggle. But unlike Bama teams in the past, you had an offense that could make all that go away. But now this defense, I know, and trust me, I talk about it. It was a rough first year, but it happens. Nick Saban's first year, it wasn't so good. So we'll see how it plays out. I think Willie Taggart, with all the racism and all that going on, I think everybody will unite around him. And I think everything will be just fine. I mean, just last year, FSU opened the season in a top 5 matchup with Alabama in the ATL. So I don't think FSU has fallen that far off to where they're no longer that team anymore. I still think they're a damn good team, and they'll be fine. So with Alabama, man, it's like offensively, they're explosively balanced. It's not just Tua going out there slinging the ball all over the field. They're very much balanced. Right now, they're on pace to have 2 800-yard rushers. Najee Harris and Damian Harris, they share time. They don't get a whole lot of carries. They haven't gotten a whole lot of carries because they've been in a lot of blowouts. They've blown a lot of teams out, so they're not going to get a whole lot of carries to win games. But they're on pace. They're both on pace to have at least, at worst, 800 yards apiece. Then you have this. You have currently 5 receivers. Alabama has 5 receivers with at least 500 yards. They have 4 with at least 600. And by the season's end, they will have 1,000-yard receiver and 4 other 800-yard receivers. That's explosively balanced at its best. You're talking about 5 options: Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, the guy that caught the game-winning championship pass. You got Jalen Waddle, and you have a tight end, Irv Smith, who's looking like a little O.J. Howard out there, man. Like, this offense is explosively dangerous, and this defense is playing with a chip on their shoulder because they have admitted that they are a little bothered by the attention their offense gets. Not like jealousy or I hate them, but it's like, hey, we built this program on our backs, on defense and running the football. Not everyone loves Tua, and rightfully so, but don't forget about this Bama defense. Every year they're top 5 in every category, and now they found themselves this year, and they got a chip on their shoulder, and that offense is not going to do any worse than 24 points a game. Look out for Alabama. And with that being said, that was the perfect segue into my next topic. Championship weekend. We got a great weekend coming up this Saturday. Championship games, man. We got the Big 12 championship, OU and Texas, the Red River rematch. I have OU winning that game. I have them winning that game in the big old shootout, somewhere along the lines of 50-42. Because OU's defense is really that bad. OU's defense really sucks. Offensively, they're second to none. They're second to absolutely none. Kyler Murray, if Tua don't win the Heisman, he's going to win the Heisman. It's those two. It's Tua and Kyler Murray. It's one of those two. If Tua don't win, then Kyler Murray's going to win it. He has a very loaded offense around him. You all know I love me some Hollywood Brown. I love CeeDee Lamb. I love that receiving core. It's a toss-up between them and Bama. I think Bama has a more deeper receiving core than they do. But I think Hollywood and CeeDee Lamb are every bit as explosive as any receiver Alabama has. So we'll see. But I have OU winning this game in a shootout. I would say 51-40, because OU's defense is really that bad. And it was a shootout last time they played. OU has not got any better on defense. They suck still on defense. Hell, they look worse on defense. So I definitely got them got them winning, but in a big old shootout, and we'll see how it all plays after that. Big Ten, we got Ohio State. We'll play Northwestern. I got Ohio State winning by 5 touchdowns. I mean, I love what Pat Fitzgerald has done at Northwestern. I think they're going the right way. I just don't think they're ready for this kind of challenge. Even with Ohio State, with all the issues and the turmoil and stuff going on like that, I think blowing out Michigan may ignite them to do something different. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I got Ohio State winning that game. I have them winning it. I say about 50-20. I mean, it's gonna be a blowout in that game too. I just think Northwestern is just not talented enough. They're 7-5. I mean, they won a very weak, division in the Big Ten. Their division is very much weak, so they won that division. So they're gonna come play in this game. I think Ohio State just drags them all over the field. It wouldn't surprise me if it ended up being 59-0 like it was, with Wisconsin, man. It's gonna get ugly real quick in this game. Then you got the ACC. You got Clemson going against Pitt. Another juggernaut team going against a 7-5 team that barely snuck in. I got Clemson winning that game 50-0. I mean, it's going to be some blowouts going on, man. So, like I said, I got OU winning a big old shootout. I got the Big Ten. I got Ohio State winning the Big Ten championship very easy. I have Clemson win the ACC very easily. So, but then we get to the SEC championship game, and that will clearly be the best game of the weekend. Alabama #1, and you got Georgia at #5. That will hands down be the best game of the weekend, the most evenly matched game, hell, the most fair game. Because I got a shootout in Texas, I got 2 blowouts, and I got a great game with Georgia and Alabama. Now, I think from this standpoint, you can't look at Bama and Georgia the same way you did back in January. Because Bama as an offense has completely evolved with Tua, and as a defense, they're pretty damn good as always. Now, Georgia, offensively, they're still stout. Sonny Michel and Nick Chubb are in the NFL doing big things. But little big deal Holyfield, little real deal. He doing his thing. Elijah Holyfield doing big things. DeAndre Swift, Nico Hardeman, who had a great game against Bama last year, by the way. So look out for him. Marquise Goodwin. So Georgia has a good offense and a great defense. They can make some things happen. But I just think offensively, they play right into Bama's hands. You gotta think last year in the championship game, even with Bama struggling, Georgia was only up 13-0, and their touchdown came at the end of the half. So it was still a very tight game, even with Bama doing nothing offensively. So I think Georgia offensively, they play right into Bama's hands. They run the ball, play action. That can beat Bama, but you're playing right into their hands by making yourself one-dimensional as the game goes on. And I think Elijah Holyfield and DeAndre Swift are great running backs. I don't think they are the running backs that Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel were. I think defensively, with Raekwon Smith and Dominique Sanders and Davin Bellamy all being gone, I think they're I just think Bama is a lot more better of a team from January to now than Georgia was January to now. But nonetheless, there are X factors. There is the revenge factor. There is Kirby Smart. Out of all Nick Saban's assistants that he's coached against, the one coach that had him dead to rights was Kirby Smart. Who knows Nick Saban better than anybody in the country? Kirby Smart. So that's the X factor. What he knows, what he don't know, what can they do, what won't they do. So we'll see how that plays out. The X factor for me has nothing to do with on the field. I think Bama's a better team than Georgia. That's not down in Georgia. I just think Bama's on that much of a different level than what Georgia is, especially over the last year or so, with Bama going to a new atmosphere offensively and still being the same great defense, and Georgia still being the same running pass and great defense. They haven't really evolved. So I think Bama wins this game. I would say 38-24. I think Bama jumps out big. It'll be tight early. I think Bama will just do one of those little where they just go down the field, score, and then Georgia fight back. I think all in all, it'll be a great game. I got on 38-24 Bama winning that game. So, but and also Georgia has a great defense. But Bama is tested. They went against LSU. They went against Mississippi State, who had a great defense. Auburn has a great defense. So Bama is very much tested against great defenses. And we'll see how Georgia plays. But I just think Bama is a much better team. And you lost to them last. And they've gotten better. And you have pretty much stayed the same and kind of not gotten better, but stayed the same. So, I don't know. But right now, I got 38-24 Bama. I think this will be the best game of the day. Like I said, I got 2 blowouts in the shootout. So, we'll see how it plays out, man. Well, after this weekend, it will be time to crown a Heisman Trophy winner. And unless you live under a rock, it's pretty much Tua and everyone else. But I'll, sorry, y'all. That's Stephen A. Smith calling me. But for the Heisman, it's coming down to, that time. I think Tua's had a great season. I think the stats don't tell the whole story. I think you look at his numbers, a lot of, first half numbers, some third quarter, barely in the fourth quarter. I mean, Tua hasn't played an entire fourth quarter. There hasn't been a time this year where he's had to play in the fourth quarter. We just don't know. We don't know how. We don't know. So with his numbers, basically you're looking at Tua's numbers through a 3-quarter, prism. So Tua has 3,189 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, 2 picks, just two. You know, and he has about 41 touchdowns, responsible for with about 5 running. But to win the Heisman, I think Tua has to play a monster game against Georgia in the SEC championship game, because because I have Kyler Murray number 2, and we all know he's killing it. 36,074 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, 7 picks. I also got Dwayne Haskins at number 3. He's had a damn good year. 4,081 yards, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Both of those guys, Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins, will both play games on Saturday that they should score 50 in. So they're going to put up big numbers. If you're Tua, you're not going to just sit there and drop 50 on Georgia. You probably won't even drop 40 on them. You know, so I'm thinking along the lines of Tua has to go out there and have about, 350 passing, maybe another 50 on the ground against Georgia. And I think he'll pretty much sort the high, because everyone's biggest knock on Tua is we haven't seen him in big games. We saw Kyler Murray in big games. We just saw Dwayne Haskins just obliterate Michigan. So we've seen those guys in big games. And it's not Tua's fault that everyone gets blown out by him in the first 2 quarters and the first 3 quarters. So we haven't seen him in a close game. I'm very comfortable in saying this. Tua will play in the 4th quarter of this game. He may play the entire 4th quarter. I'm betting he will. So I think Tua has to have a great game against Georgia to kind of put this thing to best, and I think it'll be all his. It's his Heisman to lose at this point because of how dominant he's been. But I think Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins are going to put up some big-time numbers this weekend against very inferior opponents. And that could be the thing that catapults them over Tua. So we'll see how that plays out. But right now, I got Tua, I got Kyler Murray, and I got Dwayne Haskins. And I'll throw in Travis Etienne from Clemson just to kind of balance it out. You know, put someone else in to give it some kind of flavor. He had 1,300 rushing yards, 19 touchdowns. Nothing to ride home about, but just to kind of throw a different guy in there. We know he's not going to win the Heisman. It's going to be Tua or Kyler Murray or Dwayne Haskins. Maybe we'll see how it all plays out. But if Tua balls out against Georgia, it's his award to lose. So, well, after this weekend, we will also know who will be in the college football playoff. Let's just be real. It's pretty much come down to 6 teams. Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Ohio State. I mean, sorry, UCF, you ain't getting in. We all know you're not getting in. So, look, if everything goes to plan, and everything should go to plan, you know, then it would be Alabama at 1, Clemson number 2, Notre Dame number 3, and I got Ohio State and Oklahoma winning this weekend, but I have Oklahoma being that 4th team. Why? Because their only loss came on a field goal from the other team in a shootout in a rivalry game. Ohio State, their one loss, a very embarrassing, very pathetic showing at Purdue. And yes, you blew out Michigan, but you know, with Michigan, we're all pretty much under the suspicion that they're overrated, that they're not who they say they are. So that loses some luster, and you're going to blow out Northwestern, a 7-5 team. You're going to blow them out. We all know it. OU will actually avenge their only loss. So they're going to go into Jerry World and say, all right, Texas, y'all guys last time, let me go ahead and drop 50 on you. We win. Y'all lose. Bye-bye. We're going to the playoff. I just think that you have to give Oklahoma the benefit of the doubt because of how their loss was. They lost on a last-second field goal. You know, a last-second field goal, how they lost. It was a great game. It was a shootout. The Red River rivalry. It happens. Early season. Ohio State, you got blown out by Purdue, a team that just won their last game to become bowl eligible. I mean, think about it. Just 2 weeks ago, we thought it would be Texas going to the playoff and not Oklahoma. But things have changed. So we'll see. But if everything goes to plan and everyone wins how it's supposed to win, those are my 4. Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma. Now, let's address the big what if. God forbid, knock on wood, God forbid Alabama takes the L in Atlanta. Now you got chaos because Notre Dame has pretty much solidified their spot. Notre Dame is going to the college football playoff. They won. They're undefeated. You all know Notre Dame is one of college football's biggest babies, one of their most prized possessions, one of the most prized programs. So they'll be in. They're undefeated. They haven't lost. They went to USC and won a tight game. I don't think Notre Dame did anything to lose. They did what they were supposed to do. They won the game. They won the game. They won every game. They're undefeated. They beat big-time teams, ranked opponents. They beat Michigan. They beat Syracuse. They have beaten teams, and they have gotten the job done. So they've done nothing to not get in. So they're going to be in. They're already in. Clemson will beat the hell out of Pittsburgh. We all know this, so they'll be in. I have Bama beating Georgia, so they should be in. But let's knock on wood. Let's say Bama loses, knock on wood. Then I would have Clemson. Then Notre Dame. Then Georgia, because if they beat Bama, they should get in. I mean, if you beat Bama, you should get in anyway. Like, let's be real. So if they beat Bama, knock on wood, let's be real. They should get in. Then after that, here is the chaos. You have a one-loss Bama. You have a one-loss Oklahoma. You have a one-loss Ohio State. You have a undefeated UCF. Now, I would hope that Bama has learned their lesson from last year to not let your destiny be in someone else's hands. So I think that alone is the motivating factor that Nick Saban, as great as he is, he will drive home that point. All right, guys, remember last year, someone else had to put it, we put our destiny in someone else's hands. We almost didn't get in last year because we didn't finish strong. So he's going to pound that in their head all season, all week long. Hey, let's not put our destiny in someone else's hands again. Let's not do that. Let's go take care of business, and it's all good. If Bama beats Georgia, everything is status quo. There will be no chaos. If Bama loses to Georgia, then there will be chaos. There will be issues. There will be problems. But, knock on wood, I don't think Bama loses to Georgia, so I got Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma. Let's just say Bama loses, knock on wood. Then I would have Clemson, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Alabama. Why? Because the criteria says the best 4 teams in the country. I think Ohio State ain't getting in whatever happens because that loss to Purdue will hang over their head. I think they'll look at Oklahoma and say, oh my God, your defense stinks. You had a shootout with Texas. Come on, guys, what are you doing? So they may get overlooked, whether it be right or wrong. If Bama loses, knock on wood, that's the only chaos that will happen. If Bama wins, then guess what? It's status quo. Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma. That's how it should be. All right, we're going to shift gears here to the National Football League where the pros play. And our beloved Jacksonville Jaguars have lost their 7th consecutive game. What the hell happened? Just 7 weeks ago, everybody was living their best life. Lil Duval was on ESPN, on Undisputed. Jacksonville was on the map. And then reality set in. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not what we thought they were. I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars to go represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars because I felt like that defense doesn't come around that often. A defense that great doesn't come around that often. But in the NFL, as you all know, once they get you on film, once they get your tendencies, then things get figured out. Now, all of a sudden, Jalen Ramsey may not be what he thought he was. AJ Abouye is pretty damn good. I would keep him. Maybe you trade Ramsey. Either way, the Jacksonville Jaguars need to clean house. New coach, new OC, new quarterback. Now, by paying Blake Bortles, the Jacksonville Jaguars set themselves back. Because think about it. You paid Blake Bortles. And even if you trade Jalen Ramsey and get value back for him, you still got to pay Fournette. You still got to pay Cam Robinson. You still got to pay Ronnie Harrison. You still got to pay Miles Jack. You still got to pay some guys. You know, what do you do with Marcel Darius' contract? Calais Campbell, do you keep him? Now, all of a sudden, the scenario is a nightmare. So Jacksonville Jaguars have officially won my title as the biggest disappointment this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars were my preseason pick to win the AFC. They have made me look bad, made everyone question my football knowledge with their sorry, pathetic selves. The Jacksonville Jaguars suck. Somebody got to say it, so I say it, damn it. The Jacksonville Jaguars suck. They're mediocre. They're soft. They're front runners. They're a bunch of freaking cowards. All right? And I ain't going back and forth with you Duval people, all right? Y'all living y'all worst life, all right? It's over. The Jacksonville Jaguars suck. They fooled me. They fooled y'all. End of story. Matter of fact, trade Ramsey. Just get him out of here, all right? He is not the kind of player you want on your team when you're losing. Trust me. You don't want a Jalen Ramsey in the locker room. It's all good when you're winning. Oh, yeah, look, that's my dog. He got so much passion. When you start losing, it becomes annoying as hell. Now, all of a sudden, you know, you're losing. Now, Ramsey is a problem. Now, I'm not saying it's all Ramsey's fault, but he is not a great guy to have in your locker room when you're losing. Neither was Dante Fowler. You already traded Dante Fowler. So you already took a piece off of that defense. You might as well start rebuilding all over the place. Jacksonville Jaguars, congratulations. You signed Blake Bortles, and you set yourself back by a couple years. Like I said, if you trade Ramsey, it's all good, whatever. But you still got to pay Cam Robinson. You still got to pay Leonard Fournette. You still got to pay Miles Jack. Do you keep Marcel Darius? Do you trade him? That's a big contract. $100 million. That's a big old contract. So we'll see how it plays out. But the Jacksonville Jaguars suck. I said it in the story. My biggest surprise this year, in a good way, Cleveland Browns. Who knew? They were 0-16 last year. They're 4-6-1 this year. Now I know that's nothing to ride home about, but they could easily be 8-2 or 7-3. This is a very talented football team. Offensively, they're trending upwards. I love Baker Mayfield. I love his attitude. I love that dog in him. I love how he plays. I would love to play for a guy like that, Baker Mayfield. I would love to block for a guy like Baker Mayfield. I love the guy. I know everyone's not really sold on his personality. He can be a bit brash, a bit arrogant. So the hell what? I don't care. I want him on my team. And that defense with Denzel Ward and Miles Jack, I mean, Lord, they are loaded. All right? This is a team to be reckoned with in the future. So we'll see, man. The most dangerous team right now, and being unbiased, I would say Chicago Bears. They have the best defense in football. Khalil Mack has come in there and has changed the culture of the Chicago Bears. You know, you got Khalil Mack. You got Leonard Floyd, Akeem Hicks. How the hell Eddie Jackson fell to the 4th round is beyond me. Is this guy not the biggest playmaker in the NFL right now? Is he not a top 5 safety? Roll Tide, by the way. All right, so you have great players at each level on that defense. Mitch Trubisky is going to look a lot better than what he is because of that play calling with the offensive coordinator. So the Bears are very dangerous. And hey, if you have to go to Soldier Field and play a game in that condition, I'm not jealous of you. Good luck with that. That will not be an easy task at all, man. So I think the Chicago Bears are the most dangerous team going down the stretch because of how they can play defense. And as far as the Ravens, I say let's not jump the gun here and just give Lamar Jackson the starting quarterback job. I think you ride it out with Joe Flacco. Give Joe Flacco a chance to just do whatever. Give Joe Flacco one last hurrah. Because the word is, if the Ravens miss the playoffs, John Harbaugh is gone. Another Harbaugh brother that's underachieving, but at least John got a championship. So the word is, if they miss the playoffs, they're gone anyway. So my thing is this. Give Joe Flacco one last hurrah at it. If he don't make the playoffs, then all right, he didn't make the playoffs, get rid of him. Now, unless Joe Flacco goes on one of those Joe Flacco 2012 championship runs, then I don't know. But I don't see that happen. I don't think Joe Flacco is the same player he once was. But I would give him one last shot to prove a point. After that, he's going either way. John Harbaugh is probably going either way. So one last hurrah with Joe Flacco, and then hand it over to Lamar Jackson and ride that thing till the wheels fall off. Well, people, this Thursday there will be a big-time football game in Texas. My Dallas Cowboys will take on the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints are the best team in football right now. They are not to be messed with. Drew Brees will probably win MVP. Me personally, I think it'll be a pity award. I think they'll give Drew Brees the MVP because they didn't give it to him in years past. Even though I feel like Patrick Mahomes should win the MVP, I think they'll give it to Drew Brees, and rightfully so. I think Mahomes has a long, great career ahead of him. I think he'll win some MVPs down the road. But I just think this MVP this year is all just setting up to be Drew Brees MVP. So the Saints are coming to Jerry's world. And of course, everyone already saying, the Cowboys have no shot. We're going to get blown out. We ain't got a chance in hell at beating the Saints. But I'm going to take y'all on a trip down memory lane. 2009, the Saints championship year. They were 13-0, riding high, on top of the world. Couldn't be stopped. And on one fateful, lonely Saturday night in New Orleans, the Cowboys come strolling in. Fresh off of back-to-back losses, the whole world hates the Cowboys. They ain't finna win. And before you know it, the Cowboys went into Big Easy and beat the Saints. And that rode the Cowboys' momentum all the way to the playoffs until they got their ass beat by the Vikings. But it also was a turning point in the Saints' undefeated season. Because now, perfection is gone. We're no longer perfect anymore. We can't be perfect anymore, so whatever. And that changed everything. I can definitely see this game being that same kind of game. A game that gets the Cowboys going another direction in a great kind of way. And maybe the Saints need a little humble pie. They just blew out Philadelphia. You know, they just blew out someone else, I think. So they just beat the Falcons on Thanksgiving night. I just think the Dallas Cowboys are coming into this game with everything to gain and nothing to lose. So my bold prediction, this is 1K Sports. I don't care if you don't what I say. I don't care if you disagree with me. I don't care. My bold prediction, my Dallas Cowboys will beat the New Orleans Saints this Thursday in Jerry World, 38-31. That's my bold prediction. Yeah, I said it. I mean it. I stand by it. Do I guarantee it? Hell no. Am I betting my whole life on it? Hell no. But one night, one game, one scenario, one chance, one shot, my Cowboys take down the Saints. Why? Let me tell you why. Because the Cowboys have a chip on their shoulder. Like I said on my last podcast 2 weeks ago, you Cowboy haters just don't know how valuable you are. Because the Cowboys were a dead team. 3-5. Everyone's turned their backs on them. I thought the loss to Tennessee was a bad loss. But I never threw in the towel on the Cowboys. I never did. Because I say, you know what? The NFC is wide open. Philadelphia ain't doing nothing too much this year. The Giants suck. The Redskins, I don't trust them. It's still our division to win. And what do you know? Go to Philadelphia. Everyone says, oh my God, if Philadelphia Eagles are going to crush the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to crush them. Win. Excuses. Oh, the Falcons are going to beat the Cowboys. The Falcons will beat the Cowboys. Book it. Nah, homie, book this L. 2 in a row. Oh, the Cowboys will lose to the Redskins. The Redskins are coming in ready. Loss. But hey, I get it. There's always some kind of excuse for the Dallas Cowboys who says, oh, well, they wasn't that good anyway. And then, they was injured and they had injuries. Let me tell y'all something. The Dallas Cowboys' heart and soul of their offensive line is not playing. All right? The Dallas Cowboys have injuries too. David Irvin, our second best defensive lineman, can't stay off the weed and can't stay out of court. So we have injuries too. The Cowboys have issues too. But there is no excuse for us though. And because of that, the Cowboys are playing with a chip on their shoulder. The game is at home. The Cowboys, surprisingly to me, have played pretty damn good at home this year. What a surprise. The pressure in this game is on the Saints. Everyone has the Cowboys getting their brains kicked in. Even Skip Bayless, the so-called Cowboy fan. Everyone has the Cowboys losing this game like it's a guaranteed loss. It's a Thursday night in Jerry World, national TV game. I believe the Cowboys take it home. I think New Orleans is riding so high. They're America's sweetheart once again. Everyone loves Drew Brees, yada, yada, yada. But this just feels like 2009. The Saints riding too high. Everybody down on us. They come in, we meet, we take them out. How can the Cowboys win? It's one thing to say the Cowboys can win. It's another thing to break it down from a strategy standpoint, from a strategic standpoint. So how can the Cowboys win? Zeke Elliott, and Amari Cooper. Zeke Elliott has to have the game of his life this Thursday night. First of all, the Cowboys have to win the coin toss. Win the coin toss, get the ball first, ride that thing down the field for about 7-8 minutes. Hold that ball for about 7-8 minutes and score a touchdown. And kind of get the Saints, well, okay, man, I'm kind of tight over here. I'm real tight, man. We ain't got the field yet, man. It's been like 8 minutes now. They've been dropping this ball. First down. Running the ball with Zeke. Guess what? Run the ball with Zeke. Play action the ball to Zeke. Throw the ball to Amari Cooper. If he ain't open, hit Cole Beasley. If he's not open, hit Michael Gallup. Plain and simple. Control the clock. Run the ball with Zeke. Hit Amari Cooper. He's very big on third down. Third down in this game is huge. The Cowboys have to get off the field, and the Cowboys have to stay on the field to win this game. They got to pressure Drew Brees. They have what it takes. Hopefully, David Irvin will be off probation and can play, because we need the freaking guy, for crying out loud. So, with Tank Lawrence and David Irvin and Malik Collins and Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, the tackling Dutchman, Byron Jones, we'll put Byron Jones on Michael Thomas. We can live with that. However it plays out, we'll live with that. If Thomas goes off, then so what? The Saints are not going to come in here and get shut down. They're going to score points and get a bunch of yards. We have to make sure they stay out the end zone and settle for field goals and turn them over. What won the game in 2009? 2 strip sacks from DeMarcus Ware. So now, DeMarcus Lawrence, you get 2 strip sacks. Maybe a pick 6. The Dallas Cowboys have to get pressure on Drew Brees to win this game. And on top of that, the Dallas Cowboys have to win the game because the NFC East is still wide open. Philadelphia just took out the Giants. So guess what? The Cowboys have the Saints and the Eagles have the Redskins. We don't know how it plays out. So for the most part, The NFC East is still wide open. The Cowboys cannot just take a loss to the Saints. You can't just take a loss to the Saints. You have to beat these guys. So the Cowboys kind of have to win. You know, you're 3-5. You can't afford many more losses. Hell, you can't afford no more losses. Maybe one, but it sure as hell can't beat the Saints or anyone in the NFC. The Cowboys pretty much have to win their division to get in the playoff, because think about it. You lost to Carolina. What they are, 7-4, 6-5. You lost to Seattle. They're 6-5. So you lose the tiebreaker to the two top wildcard teams. So win the NFC East is the Cowboys' ticket to get in the playoffs. So that's their chance right there. So it's a must win. The Cowboys are playing with house money. They have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So I got my Cowboys. That's my bold prediction. The Dallas Cowboys will take out the New Orleans Saints 38-31 this Thursday night. All right, so I'm going to cross over to the NBA. Well, the NBA hasn't really gotten the full swing yet. I'm a firm believer that the NBA doesn't start until, Christmas Day. That's when we find out where everyone's at. But there are some storylines, so we'll get into that. Jimmy Butler is in Philadelphia. And I must say, this should be his last stop, and it might be his best stop. Because Jimmy Butler is rough and rugged and, volatile and just strong, stubborn. Welcome to the city of brotherly love, Jimmy Butler. You have found your home. I think Philadelphia is the perfect spot for Jimmy Butler. His personality fits. Those fans of Philadelphia, they will tell the truth. Now, Jimmy Butler's gotten away with a lot of stuff. It didn't work out in Chicago. You got traded Minnesota. You couldn't get along with those guys. Rumors are on Team USA, you were the biggest headache. Not Draymond Green, not Boogie Cousins. You, Jimmy Butler, you were the biggest headache. You were. So here you are in a city, in an environment that will tell you about your ass. So guess what, Jimmy Butler? The guy you playing with now, Joel Embiid, he's not cat. Now, Karl Anthony Towns, to me, is a very talented big man. As a matter of fact, just about every GM in the league said they would start their franchise right now with Karl Anthony Towns. So I don't believe this whole thing about Jimmy Butler, he's soft and all that. I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is soft. I just think he has a way of playing this game. Think about it. They called Tim Duncan the big fundamental. To me, that means big and soft. You a big guy with finesse moves. But because Tim Duncan won championships and MVPs, that kind of made it, he big and soft, but he damn sure get these awards and win these championships. So Karl Anthony Towns has to win. When you win, that kills any thought about you. I don't think Paul Gasol became no gangster overnight, but once Paul Gasol started winning, once Tim Duncan started winning, all of a sudden the big old soft name and label was erased. Even though you're still probably soft or still probably a finesse big man, the soft label is gone because you won playing that kind of way. So Karl Anthony Towns is still a top big man. I don't care what Butler says. Is Andrew Wiggins a disappointment? Yes. He was the first pick in the draft, so of course the ceiling is extremely high. But he's not horrible. He's not garbage. He's just not a superstar just yet. So we'll see. But the guy you're playing with now, Joel Embiid, he ain't soft. He ain't finesse. He ain't friendly. So guess what, Jimmy Butler? If you decide that you're going to show up into the practice in a pissed off mood and get in his face, good luck, buddy. And Ben Simmons is a young superstar who the franchise has brought in to be the face of the franchise. So guess what, Jimmy Butler? They're not picking you over him either. So now you got to come in here, you got to shut up and play ball. With Butler, the Sixers have their team. Now, if Ben Simmons learn how to shoot, for God's sakes, maybe they take another step forward. Maybe they go somewhere else next year. But right now, they're set. I think the Raptors are a better team. I think the Pacers are a damn good team. No one's talking about them at all. But I think the Raptors, Celtics, I say the Milwaukee Bucks, and I would say the Celtics, those are top teams in the East. We'll see how it all plays out. But right now, my best team in the East is the Raptors. I think Kawhi Leonard is damn good. I don't think it was all San Antonio. I think the guy has proven himself to be a great superstar. So we'll see how that plays out. So I just think Minnesota was too soft. Minnesota was too soft for Jimmy. Philadelphia is just right. They will tell you about yourself, Jimmy Butler. So if you're the problem, if you're a problem, believe me, these fans will let us know and will let you know. So I ain't worried about that. So I think Jimmy is in the perfect spot in Philadelphia, perfect city, perfect fans, all rough and rugged enough for you. It's all rough and rugged in Philadelphia. So Jimmy Butler is right at home in Philadelphia. So I'm good with that. Now, we got drama out there in Golden State. You know, I still think they're the title favorites. I don't think it's changed anything, barring injuries. But I did want to address this issue with Draymond and KD. We all know what happened. Draymond brought up KD's, free agency stuff coming up and called a B word and all that there. So I think Draymond was wrong for bringing up KD's, free agent intentions. Even if KD is leaving, even if he told you he's leaving, you don't bring that up in the middle of a game. You don't bring that up. And we all know KD is very thin-skinned, very sensitive, in terms of off the court and man-to-man. Now, on the court, he's a monster. Now, I would take KD in the clutch over LeBron. So that's where he's different. But we all know KD's a little sensitive, a little timid kind of guy. So it was wrong for Draymond to bring that up. However, I do not believe Draymond Green is the only person in the Warriors organization that felt that way. He just has the balls to say it. And that's what Draymond is. He's what the Warriors don't have. He is that backbone they don't have. He is that edge they don't have. Now, Steph Curry is the assassin, the babyface assassin. I call Klay Thompson a smooth criminal. KD is the long, stretchy guy, make all the shots, best player on the team. Draymond is that Draymond is what those guys are not. He's tough, rough, rugged. He's the most unselfish guy on that team. So what Draymond has brought to this franchise cannot be denied. But I feel like by suspending Draymond Green, you're basically saying, Draymond, as valuable as you are, and I think Steph Curry is the most important player. I think KD is their best player. I think Klay Thompson is the most dependable player. I think Draymond is their most irreplaceable player. He's the one guy you don't have a replacement for because Draymond can own the game with 2 points because of the rebound and the assist. Think about how many extra shots a game that Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and KD get because of how unselfish Draymond is. So with the Warriors pretty much throwing Draymond under the bus, now you run the risk of losing Draymond and KD. Now, from what I've researched, the Warriors want KD on the team for at least one more year because next year they're moving to the new arena in San Fran. And they want KD to kind of be like, hey, let's bring in a new arena. Maybe they'll be 3-time defending champions. They'll be celebrating a whole lot, so it'll be a new arena. You'll probably 3-time defending champions. A great thing. So the Warriors want KD for at least the opening of that new arena next year. And now with Boogie, now here's the X factor. The Warriors, in my opinion, in my mind, they didn't sign Boogie to a 1-year deal to just try him out. They're filling him out. They're looking at DeMarcus Cousins as a potential chess piece to go to KD and say, KD, what if we trade Draymond? What if we trade Draymond Green right now and we re-sign Boogie? We give Boogie a bigger contract. We re-sign you and Boogie. Now it's a Splash Brothers, KD, and Boogie. And Draymond is no longer. That could be a problem. That could be X factor. Or maybe they're saying, hey, if KD leaves, then Boogie becomes our new superstar. Now Boogie is our new go-to guy. So Boogie Cousins, really watch that, people. I don't think the Warriors signed Boogie to a one-year deal to test him out. No, they're filling him out. They're trying to see if Boogie can give them. Now, Boogie will come back, they say, in January. The Warriors are basically saying, look, Boogie, you got half a year to convince us to get rid of Draymond Green. Basically. I think Boogie Cousins was brought in to be a replacement for someone in that core. And my money says it's Draymond because they want KD beyond this season. Draymond wants new money after this season, which he probably won't get for a couple of years. So the Warriors have bait. They said, look, KD, we'll trade Draymond right now. We'll keep Boogie and trade Draymond. How you like that? Maybe KD will love that. Maybe KD will love that and stick around. Or KD leaves. And you say, oh, Draymond, we're sorry. KD was never loyal. We're sorry. We'll resign you and we'll resign Boogie. The Warriors brought in Boogie to be there for a while. I think signing Boogie was the Warriors' secret chess move. Just in case KD bailed on them. Just in case Draymond bailed on them. They said, look, Steph Curry ain't going nowhere. He's down for life. We got Klay Thompson. We ain't let him go. So let's keep the Splash Brothers. And if we lose Draymond, and God forbid we lose Draymond and KD or KD, then we got our go-to guy. We got Boogie. We got the Splash Brothers and Boogie. The Warriors' dream scenario is that Draymond continues to self-destruct and go crazy, and they trade him, and they say, look, KD, we trade Draymond, and we're going to re-sign Boogie. Stay with us. No problem. Or you trade Draymond any damn way. KD leaves anyway. Now you got Boogie. Or Draymond stays, KD leaves, you keep Boogie. Either way, the Warriors signed Boogie to be there for a while. They may not have said that. That may not be the talk around town, but trust me, they did not bring Boogie in for a one-year mess-around contract. They are seeing if they should pull the trigger on someone in the core of that group. And the replacement for either one will be Boogie. So, anyways, thank y'all for tuning in, man. I've been gone for a week, man. I missed y'all on Monday. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone enjoyed the Thanksgiving. I'm just now done with the leftovers, man. It's all done now, man. So, hope everyone enjoyed their week. Enjoy their week. Go get that money, man. Y'all work hard, stay up, and be easy, man. Peace.